I am absolutely losing my shit here, people. This is so fucked up. My Lyndon 24M wife, Bridget 23F, has an identical twin sister, Sandra 23F. They have always been weirdly close. I just thought it was a twin thing. I had a couple friends that were twins and they were really close. I just figured it was even more standard for them to be even closer when they were identical twins. To give a little background, I met my wife 2 years ago. I work as a bartender at a place my uncle owns. She came in one night and we just hit it off from the word go. She actually asked me out. The romance was a real whirlwind and we got married after just 8 months. Didn't even have a real wedding, just courthouse. She moved in with me because I have a 2-bedroom house I was renting from a different uncle and she was still living at home with her parents. I met her sister right away, and we have always gotten along. The only thing that I ever found weird was how alike Bridget and Sandra were. Honestly, the only difference between them is Bridget is a little more thoughtful with what she says, and Sandra is a little more sassy and crude. Otherwise, they are like the same person. They look exactly alike obviously, but they actively maintain that. They go to the same hairstylist, and get the exact same cut and color on the exact same day. They have been doing this their whole lives. They work out at the gym together, they shop together, they do just about everything together. They like all the same things. We go out to eat together and if it's a familiar place they order different dishes then split them between each other. They have the same taste in movies, music, and all sorts of things. They even have the same taste in men. Sandra was in a year-long relationship that has since ended. I met the guy a few times before they broke up and it was odd. The dude could literally have been my brother. I even noticed we had the same sense of humor. I liked the guy, but I didn't mind when Sandra and him called it quits because it felt kinda creepy. Anyway, this is where things get fucked up. About a month ago we had a small house party over at our place. Just friends, obviously Sandra was there. I had a little bit much to drink that night and was pretty tipsy. Bridget was too. As the night was winding down, the booze really caught up with me and I told Bridget I was going to lay down. She told me Sandra was going to stay over. This was not unusual, she had stayed over plenty of times. I actually expected it because any time they drank they would stay at each other's place. What was surprising was that they were going to watch a movie together. I knew they both had plenty to drink and figured they would just both pass out as like I was that I had just laid down when Bridget came in. She didn't turn on any lights or anything, she got into bed with me. I said, "Changed your mind on the movie?" She just said, "Yeah." Then climbed into bed. I noticed she had stripped all the way down, and that got me excited. I rolled into her and she just started stroking me. I went along with it and we had sex. Afterwards I fell asleep pretty quickly that I woke up around 5 because I had to use the bathroom. When I came back to bed she initiated sex with me again, which was odd, but I wasn't complaining. I should note we don't use condoms because Bridget is on the pill. I also don't usually finish in her, usually just when we know the likelihood of pregnancy is low. On this night she was insistent I did so both times. I passed out again after the second romp, and woke up around 10 mildly hungover but not too bad, I wasn't wasted after all. Bridget was already up and Sandra had gone home before I got up. We had a pretty normal day. Bridget came on to me again later that next day, and pretty much every day for the next week. We have a fairly healthy sex life and doing it several days in a row isn't that odd. The 3 times in what was essentially one day was, but I just figured she was feeling extra sexy. This leads me to what happened earlier today. Sandra called me and asked if I could come over and help her with something. Her and one of their good friends from high school just got an apartment together. She told me she needed a few shelves hung, but when I got there she told me she lied about that. Sandra then pulls out a pregnancy test and hands it to me. It's positive. I shake my head a little bit and say, "Congrats, I don't know what to say, have you told Bridget because she didn't say anything to me?" I thought it was strange that she lied to get me over to show me this, I assumed she was wanting to surprise tell Bridget and wanted my help. She said, "No, I haven't told her yet, I needed to tell you first." I looked at her and said, "Why would you need to tell me first?" She looked at me with big eyes and said, "Because you're the father, from the 2 times at the party." My chest started pounding. I stared at her for a long minute and said, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" She looked at me and said, "What do you mean, you had sex with me twice at that party, don't play dumb now." I exploded, I thought that was Bridget. Why the fuck would you do this? She got defensive and said, "You were flirting and giving me the eyes all night. We were going to watch a movie, but Bridget passed out right away. I wasn't tired so I thought I'd ask you if you wanted to watch. When I came in you weren't wearing a shirt and I don't know I just got turned on, I was drunk. You didn't seem to mind, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, I was not flirting with you, what the fuck possibly made you think that?" She said, "I don't know, just seemed like you were, and then I got in bed with you and you had your dick in me in less than 2 minutes, then fucked me again in the morning. Seemed like you wanted me." I felt like I was going to hyperventilate. I just said, "I'm out of here, I want a paternity test, I don't believe you, and I'm telling Bridget what you did, you have fucked up everything." At that point I stormed out of her apartment and headed straight home. I came into our house pretty upset and was about to spill it all to Bridget. She was way too excited though, and it gave me just a moment's pause. She said she had something super exciting to tell me. I kind of froze. I didn't want to ruin her big news, and didn't really want to tell her what just happened. I knew I had to, and would, but I welcomed at least the slight delay in the inevitable. I said, "Go ahead babe, what's up?" She sat me down on the couch, and looked at me with these big bright radiant eyes. Then she handed me a positive pregnancy test and said, "You're going to be a daddy." I totally chickened out of telling her about Sandra, and did my best to feign excitement. I am excited about this, but I can't with Sandra. She has lost her mind. I'm going to tell Bridget everything tomorrow, I just want her to have this day. After that I don't know what I'm going to do.